Everybody, this is day 3 now at Williamsburg. Sorry I couldn't get any videos of yesterday, our second day, because I'm recording. I'm recording a YouTube video, Tanya. Hold on one second. I couldn't record yesterday because it was snowing and raining all day, which we still were out here for the full day. We got here right at opening and stayed until past closing. And then actually even last night after the park closed, we came back at 7:30 for a concert that was set in 1776 at the Governor's Palace. They had violins, dulcimers, harpsichord, flutes. It was just absolutely enchanting. But we're here again, me and my subscribers were here in Colonial Williamsburg for day 3 to just get the stuff that we haven't been able to see yet. We just came from the blacksmith and the gunsmith, and we're sort of just walking down the main thoroughfare of Colonial Williamsburg. If you guys don't know, if you haven't paid attention, I am visiting Colonial Williamsburg. I've been here all week. I'm typically in Juneau, Alaska. That's where I operate out of. But this week I came to Williamsburg sort of as a pro-Trump, pro-Q tour of Colonial Williamsburg. And it's been amazing, even though this was funded by Rockefeller. It's a deep state Rockefeller. Yah has used this place for his glory, because I've talked about the June 1st fasting and prayer day that I learned that Thomas Jefferson and Patrick Henry launched, which provided the impetus for the American Revolution, literally crying out to Yah. They did that in 1774, just before the war broke out in the following spring of 1775. So I learned about that. What were the other godly things we've learned? There's been so much. There's just been so much. Oh, we just came from the Presbyterian house, which was basically in the first part of the 18th century, like 1699 to the latter 1700s. They had to get permission from Britain, a license, in order to open up a church, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's, you know, in other words, if I tried to preach here in the early 1700s, I would have been arrested. I would have been arrested here in Williamsburg, because you'd have to have a license from Britain. So this is another reason why they had to have the Revolutionary War. Now, right there, that is the Raleigh Tavern. When Britain dissolved the assembly that Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson and all of them were part of, they met in secret here. This was like the original Q. They met in secret here, and this is the birthplace of what would eventually become the Continental Congress, just in this little tavern here. And by the way, when I say tavern, I know people think, oh, tavern, that must be like a bar room where brawls break out. No, taverns in the 18th century were much different. They had ballrooms. We actually toured one of these taverns. They had ballrooms. They had rooms of where you could sleep at. They had a very actually tiny bar of liquor. They had rooms where the gentry would smoke pipes. So much different than a tavern we might think of, or a bar we might think of as today. Well, anyway, that's where they met once they were dissolved, sort of in rebellion to the British authorities. So yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that the First Amendment was passed because to protect open-air street preachers like George Whitefield, John Wesley, these open-air street preachers, like what I do. You know, when you saw me and Jared and Pam out in front of Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma a couple weeks ago, and we were open-air street preaching in front of there, rebuking them. Okay, that would have been illegal prior to the First Amendment's passage. So the First Amendment was passed largely to protect open-air street preachers, to allow the free passage of the gospel of the Messiah, not to have to go to authority to get a license so that we can open a church or do open-air preaching. So this was in my mind, this is the main reason that we needed the American Revolution. So just a beautiful day. It's a bit colder today. It's clear, but it's cold. Even by Alaska standards, it's pretty cold today because of that wind chill that we don't really have to deal with in Alaska. But just a beautiful day. Gorgeous, no chemtrails today, praise Yah. And we're just enjoying our day here at Colonial Williamsburg. I'm sorry I have not done a news video today because I went to bed at 11 o'clock last night and didn't get up till 7:45 this morning. So I literally almost slept 9 hours, which is what I needed. But just a beautiful, gorgeous day here in Colonial Williamsburg. Again, an entire city set in 1776. And before I end, I'm just going to ask my 2 subscribers that are with me today. Yesterday, I had 3 subscribers. Today, back to 2, Pam and Tanya. Do you guys have any concluding or closing thoughts, particularly about how Yah himself has spoken to you or revealed things to you by being here in Colonial Williamsburg? And either one of you can say anything.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead, Tanya.
I live in the area. I've lived in the Tidewater area. I'm living in Richmond now. And I'm going to tell you, when my son started going to William and Mary, I walked into a bookstore for William and Mary in Merchant Square, and I had a satanic attack happen to me, and I knew exactly what it was. My arms went numb across my chest. I had to turn around and walk out of that bookstore. And I'm going to tell you now, I do not feel the presence of evil like I did.
Hallelujah.
All those years
Hallelujah.
ago. Okay.
Amen, guys. So in her testimony, by the way, and I talked about this on Monday as well, her testimony, we're under a reprieve right now. With President Trump being where he is and fighting this evil and taking down these satanic pedophiles, we're in a merciful reprieve where the spirits of darkness, the Satanists, the witches, they are being restrained. And we better take advantage of this as blood-bought, blood-washed soldiers of the Messiah, of Jesus Christ, of Yahshua. We need to take advantage of this time and use it to glorify him. Because who knows, this may be the last reprieve we get before the Great Tribulation begins. My opinion is the Great Tribulation will start at the end of Trump's second term. I think he's going to win in a landslide next year, by the way. Now, I could be wrong in my opinion. Maybe we'll still have some more years of goodness after Trump leaves office. I don't know. But I will tell you this. Right now, we're living in a very special time, and we need to take advantage of it. All right. Y'all bless you guys from Colonial Williamsburg. Shalom. Shalom.